It's the morning show with Parker and James, David Lee Roth and Yankee Rose. This morning, I am pleased to have Luca Paris in the studio, and I'm just as pleased to have Alton Brown with us as well. Alton, I got to tell you, I have watched probably every episode of Good Eats there is. I have the DVDs. I'm a big fan of the show, so it's great to have you here.
Yeah. I appreciate that very much. Especially glad you're buying those DVDs. Gosh darn it, my daughter needs new shoes.
I figured as much. I figured you'd enjoy that part. And I've learned a lot about you that I didn't realize. I didn't realize that you were instrumental in a lot of the REM videos.
No, I was instrumental in one.
One?
People blow that all out of proportion. Yeah. Just one. Just one.
I mean, was trying to sell you up, buddy.
Way back a long time ago. That's the internet talking, not
me.
Okay.
So Alton, getting into food's kind of crazy for you because you started not into food. You started into TV and radio. I mean, TV and movies and that kind of stuff, right?
It was commercial. I directed commercials mostly for about 10 years, but I cooked as a hobby, and that's how I kind of decided, I want to make a food show if I can. So that was a long time ago.
One of the coolest things that I think about when I think about your shows is how much it teaches everybody out there, and you're the ultimate teacher when it comes to food.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I, to this day, I mean, I've been in the business for 20 years. I still put on one of your shows, and I'm listening to it. I'm like, wow, I never even thought about that. I just learned how to make a really good pork tenderloin the other day from you, and not that I haven't made a couple in my day, but just your process and everything. It's really talking to the people that are out there listening, and I'm sure that's what you tried to do with your show all the time.
We try. It's like pork tenderloin's a great example of one of those foods that will really come back and bite you if you're not really careful. It dries out so quickly. And our main thing is, you spend a lot of money on groceries. Let's try not to mess any of them up.
Right. Yeah, right.
We like pot-belly.
It's kind of like being a doctor. First do no harm. I'm not a great chef. I just want to find a way to not mess up the food because that stuff's expensive.
Sure.
So Good Eats the Middle Years, that's coming out, right?
Good Eats the Middle Years came out on Monday.
Yeah.
I think it released. I haven't been in a bookstore, but it's the second volume of the Giant Good Eats Compendium.
Now,
Covers, I think it's episode 84 to 160 something. I don't know. It's so big and heavy, I haven't picked it up yet.
So that brings up a great question about Good Eats from day one to now. Have you found that your Good Eats have changed a little bit? Have you ever done a show and then gone back and revisited what you thought could be better the next time?
Yeah,
Is it better
question.
Eats?
Well, that's really what the book's about. I mean, we went back. I wanted to wait 10 years to do any Good Eats books at all because I wanted to have some time and distance. So literally, this is going back and making those changes, looking at every episode and every recipe and saying, what might we have done different here? Looking at feedback over the years from viewers. Okay, somebody had a problem with this. Let's redo it. So every single one of those recipes has been remastered. Maybe not changed, radically, but repairs have been made to every one of them. So I feel kind of like I'm paying for some culinary sins in a way.
And I love the fact that you can incorporate your the people who watch your show, because think about if you think old school, obviously you got to think Julia Child if you're talking about any kind of cooking shows, because she's instigated the whole thing. But when you think about that, she didn't have the ability to interact with her fan base.
Because she was drunk.
Because she was drunk most of the time on the sherry. But
no, she wasn't.
no, but
she was not drunk all the time.
Not all the time, but most of the time.
No,
not when she was off the air.
Right, when she was right. But now you have that. You like that feedback. Do you ever get people's ideas that just kind of blow your mind, and you're like, oh, I didn't think of that.
Well, I don't do any of the looking myself. A staff person gets the feedback for me and only gives me what I need to know because I think I'm kind of the last person that needs to be hearing everything.
Right. Okay.
So I have absolutely no idea. People could be saying stuff. I don't need to know. This is why I don't tweet. I don't Facebook. I live in my own little insulated world, and they feed me what I need to be fed in order to do the work, and that's about it.
Sure.
So you hear all the good stuff then?
No, actually, I don't even hear that because I don't believe that stuff either. The thing about press or critical reviews is you don't want to believe it if it's good because you might have to grease up your head to get through the door, and you don't want to listen to it if it's bad because then it just messes with you. So the best thing to do is just not pay any attention to it. If somebody's paying you to do a job, do the job the best you can, and don't worry about it.
Good advice.
If the ratings fall off and Food Network calls me up one day and says, "Hey, we got a problem," then you better believe I'm going to listen.
Right.
Until that time, I'm just going to work every day.
So what's new and exciting in Good Eats in the future? Is there more to conquer in that world?
Oh my gosh, we're actually in production right now. My crew's getting a break this morning because I'm talking to you guys. But we're cranking out new shows that'll be in October, airing. I think the new shows will be coming on Wednesdays. Just as Search for Next Iron Chef starts airing its new season on Sunday evenings, and you know the book coming out. So it's a big busy month, October.
Now, real quick, the you mentioned the Next Iron Chef and even the Iron Chef where you're hosting and all these things. But how do you feel about the whole switch into the reality world of of culinary arts? I mean, what it used to be about learning about the food and teaching people about that, but now with Iron Chef, Iron Chef there's a drama about the food, which is cool. But then you start getting into all the other stuff that's out there. Are you cool with it?
Well, food is, you know, we got to be kind of careful, I think. I mean, food has spread out into every kind of genre that you can imagine, you know, competition and reality certainly being among them. I like to think of Iron Chef America as a sporting event, an athletic event.
Sure.
And I try to call it like one. You know, to me, it's Monday Night Football in a certain way. You know, reality TV is not my cup of tea. I don't care for it. I don't thrive on it. But, you know, food is such a universal subject that I wouldn't be surprised, you know, we're going to see, you know, food sitcoms, you know, food, all different kinds of food shows, because it is one of the few subjects that we universally have in common with each other.
Sure.
So that makes it interesting.
Do you remember that Emerald tried a food sitcom a while back?
He did, and it was before its time.
Yeah, did you give him a little ribbing about that?
Notice I'm just going to say it was before its time. I never actually saw it. It was canceled as I walked to my TV to turn it on.
I think
but
so.
I think that was a case of I think NBC kind of rushing to capitalize not on food, but on one chef's popularity, and they kind of, I think he got thrown to the wolves on that.
Is it really between TV chefs and everything? Is there any competition there, or do you guys all get along, or is it kind of like?
You know, because I live in Atlanta and I'm not in the restaurant world, I don't. The only time I cross these guys is usually on Iron Chef America. You know, I'm friendly with people like Bobby Flay and Michael Simon and Mario Batali. These are people that I see a few times a year. But you know, we don't have a secret clubhouse someplace. You know, where we check in and decide the fate of the culinary world. I mean, they may have one, but they haven't invited me in yet.
80s child actors have that.
So you know, it's the way it goes.
All right, Alton Brown,
I'm the outsider.
They're gonna knock us off here, but thanks a lot for being on the show. We appreciate it. The new book is available where?
Right now, bookstores, Amazon, anywhere. There may already be one in your home. You just have to find it. It's quite heavy, so you'll trip over it eventually.
All right, thanks a lot for being on the show. Alton Brown here on The Morning Show.
Hey, thanks,
buddy.
Thank you, Chef.
Thanks, Chef.